Hey guys, Andrew the Realtor here. Welcome to the September housing market update. Stats from August. I'm talking about what's happening in September as well. So let's get right to it and stay tuned, please, because not only going to give you some numbers, I'm also going to give you some information about something that has some manipulation, if you will, happening over the past week and forward because of the politics going on. I mentioned one specific thing so that you guys maybe have a little more, maybe some discernment in what you're hearing from the news about, especially about the housing market, because that keeps coming up. Regardless of what party you may be leaning towards in terms of the election, they all have something to say about the housing market, or certainly they should, because it's a big topic. So I'm going to mention that. I mentioned in my Q&A a little bit about the business that I really want you guys to know, maybe get a little more insight into what we do here as real estate. So anyway, moving right along, I'm going to do this, minimize myself over here to the corner, and let's do this right here. Present. Okay. So, and that's over here. I don't know why that's there. Okay, moving right along. So August last month, which is obviously we don't have the stats for the September, but September is probably going to be very similar to this, maybe even a little bit slower. August last month was, as you probably saw in the articles in the news, slower than August of 2020. And the drop, just like as I mentioned last month with July stats, the slump, drop, those kinds of things. The reality is, in terms of homes sold, August of this year is very normal. In fact, it's even busier than some of the previous months of 18 and 17. Last month, I showed you the stats for July of 2018, I think, and 17 as well. Anyway, I'm not going to do that here to save you some time. The point being, last month was actually quite normal. Average price, of course, still going up regularly. So the appreciation has certainly been there. Again, detached have been doing amazing year over year, over 20% specifically. And condos, you might notice, if you've kept up with my updates, I hope you have, I do try to give you guys some really good information, over 9%, almost 9.5%. Condos year over year, which is encouraging, certainly for the condo market. And that's going to continue. That's been going on for a while. So overall, everything going up, as I've been telling you. Now, moving forward, next slide is this. You guys might remember. Let me minimize myself. Get out of the way. Here. I mentioned this last time. I mentioned it again. GTA home prices forecast to rise another 50,000 or so. I remember speaking to somebody. I might have mentioned it last month as well, and it's happened in the past month as well, not just in July, but certainly this month. Is that, yeah, there may be still some drop. There may be some prices dropping. One person was told, I think I mentioned this last month, that they're going to lose a fairly large chunk of money if they were going to hold off selling, because they were told that the market's going to slow down, it's going to cool off, it's going to start slowing down, the prices are going to go down. Well, guess what? This was a guess from a specific newspaper in real estate news. It was pretty much exactly what I was saying. And yes, this is what's happening right now. Prices are consistently going up. They're not going down. And that's very important to know that. Because you have to know what the numbers that are involved in, which I showed you from before. Let me go back. Inventory, active listings, 16,600 in 2020, August. This August, 8,200. Right now, I checked this morning, is roughly 9,700 active listings. The point being, we're not even a half of a balanced market, and we're probably about 60% or so of what the market really should be. We should be in the 14,000, 15,000, maybe 13,000 at this point in the beginning of the fall market, but we're nowhere near there. So the issue continues. Demand, fairly normal, picking up because of the market. The inventory continues to be very low. So supply and demand, the demand continues to be pretty good. It slowed down. It's not the crazy stuff of before, but lo and behold, inventory continues to be low. And that is actually the issue, unlike some of the other things that are mentioned by the politicians. I'll mention one right here. So this is huge. Not as huge as my head, apparently, but I'll move it over here. This is just a recent survey that was done. It's an article that just came out recently. So here's the biggie. And you guys have probably seen this. I'm sure you've heard this because this is a talking point on CP24, the whole bit. Canadians believe the top 5 reasons for the current state of the housing market. Look at number 1. It's very important for you guys to number 1 because I really appreciate you guys watching this. And I want you guys some really good information. You can tell your friends this because this is the reality of stuff. So too many foreign buyers. That's the first one. Lack of income, wage increases, lack of housing supply. I'm surprised that lack of housing supply is that low. The reality is that is the issue. Lack of housing supply is the issue, and low interest rates. But we've had COVID, and nobody in their right mind is going to raise those interest rates because they need the money, how much money we've spent over the past year and a half because of the COVID epidemic. Lack of government strategy policy. Big deal. However, supply has been the issue for years and years at this point. But notice, here's the point. I'm going to prove something to you. Too many foreign buyers. Now, I don't have the foreign buyers numbers now. However, I do remember in 2016, 2017, people were saying the exact same thing, and the foreign tax started coming in. So here's the issue. It's actually not a huge problem at all. I want to show you just how much of a psychological effect it has on you guys, what you hear in the news, and you have been probably over the past couple of weeks, and what you're going to be hearing until the 20th when we vote in just a few days, from this video, 3 days from now. Take a look at this. This is 2017. I snagged this from a presentation of, I think it was a CIBC person, head of economics, and I think it was CIBC or somebody else. The point being, I got this. I was the only realtor there. There's a bunch of mortgage brokers there. Watch this. This is 2017. You guys remember 2017, the first quarter, the craziness that was going on, and then the market corrected itself in 3 months. So this was an actual survey, very similar to the survey I just showed you guys. Many respondents believe foreign buyers impact prices. Very similar. This is 2017. You see CMHC down here at the bottom, 2017, fall of 2017. What's the first thing? City is attractive. Everybody loves the GTA. That's a given. Okay, that's an easy one. The second thing, of all these things, the second biggest thing that people were mentioning in the survey, foreign investment. And that's a CMHC typo there. It's not mine. So they did that. I left it alone. Kind of funny. But foreign investment, second on the list. Second on the list right now, in the current survey you guys saw, it's first on the list. What is the actual reality? Here's the reality. Actual facts, not the hype in which you'll be hearing for the next week. This is 17. I bet you the numbers are pretty close right now. The psychological effect at play, given how low the non-resident ownership rate actually is. In Toronto, they have single, semi-rose, townhouse apartments, those kinds of things. The actual number of overall is 3.4%. So they're talking about foreign buyers. What's the actual number? 3.4%. Now, whatever that is, maybe it's 4% now, is it 3%? I don't know what it is this year specifically. This is 2017 when it was supposed to be a really big issue. It's a hot topic and government had to step in and do something. Does that number correlate to it being in the people's minds the single biggest issue that is facing us in terms of the housing affordability? Does that make sense to you? Clearly not. Why does it come up? Why do people believe this? Why do probably some of you maybe believe this? And I mean, obviously, no offense, because you've been told it by politicians. Is it an issue? Maybe. Is it the number one issue? Are you kidding me? What about supply? Sounds a lot like a talking point. And if you say it long enough, people are going to believe that it's actually a big thing. Actual numbers, CMHC, government. So I wanted you guys to see that because that's a big deal. I've shown that to many presentations. I've shown this probably 2-3 dozen times. So the point being, supply is the main issue. A couple other things, foreign investment, buyers, honestly, it's not really there. Not to the effect of being the first issue. Next, Q&A. A little bit self-serving, but guys, bear with me. I actually did this for a reason. I try to do a Q&A every month. The biggest question come up so far is two, actually. One is, Andrew, if they haven't seen me, my son was out of school for a year. He was in a different school last year. He came back to the school he was in previously for senior kindergarten. Why do you need to know this? People are asking, oh, hey, Andrew, we haven't seen you in a long time. Hey, are you still in real estate? And it comes up a lot. Common question, no big deal. You guys have probably asked it of me and other people that you know that are in real estate. So here's the thing. Why is it important? Yes. Why is yes an important answer? Some of you folks don't know our business particularly well. Some do. Here's an interesting source, maybe surprising to some of you. Some of you already know this. Depending on the source, there are a few different sources doing statistics and this kind of things over the past decades for Toronto Real Estate Board and other boards, US and Canada. Percentage of real estate agents that fail in the business within the first 5 years ranges between 85 to 90%. That's a heck of a failure rate. When you think about it, nearly 9 out of 10 new agents can expect to fail, which is an eye-opener. That's a big deal. I didn't actually know that when I got into the business 10 years ago. Why? So I guess when people ask me, are you still in real estate? They must know something about this, or maybe they just see people disappear and now they're doing something else. I'll tell you why it's important. Another little ditty here. This is 2020 statistics. I got it from a colleague of mine who works in the west end of Toronto. She does amazing work. She's one of the top 100 agents, actually. And she gets this, and it's a picture on a cell phone, which is why you see the glare on there. Forgive me for the lack of quality. The point being here, look at these numbers. This is the number of sales. This is the number of transactions somebody does, an agent does. And if you look at 58,000. So 58,000, say 59,000 agents in 2020 registered in the Toronto Real Estate Board. That's a lot of people. 90% the 10 years deals or less. And really, 20,000 at nothing, almost 26,000 at 1 to 5. And then you have the 10% doing most of the business. Now, why did I mention that? This isn't bragging or anything of that nature. My mother had her knees replaced, I think 2 or 3 years ago, this one, both of them, one and then the other. The gentleman, the doctor, the surgeon who did both of those operations, somebody who's done those many, many times. When you do something over and over again, this is simple to all of you. Most of you are in these kinds of professions. Any kind of profession, the more you do it, the better you get at it. As the years go by, as you do more and more, in this case, transactions, in your case, experiences, what you do is you actually learn more and more about your own craft. If you take the time to learn more, you actually become much, much better at what you do. Never mind the production that you're doing in whatever field that you're in. And so, again, I get this question literally all the time. And I mention this only because the information I showed previously, if you're dealing with somebody in the past couple of months, I've spoken to a lot of realtors. Some of them wanted to bring an offer on one of my listings. One of the tactics they've used, or they said to me, listen, this is a great offer. It wasn't. The market is going to be dropped. Everybody knows the market's dropping. It's a bubble burst. And I think they actually believed it. That was not the case. And we sold the house much better than the offer those guys were going to give me. Now, had I not known that, had I related that information to my sellers, maybe my sellers and me would have been convinced that, you know what, maybe we should take this because things are not going to go that well. Now, why would I do that? Because I don't know the market. Because I don't do transactions regularly. I've not been in the business for years. And I don't research my stuff. But I do. So we didn't. And we got a record price for that home. The other thing I've seen is fall market's going to happen. Now, I give you guys the stats every single time. Some of you are bored with it. Some of you maybe you're almost close to stopping watching this video. But you have those stats. You have those numbers for a specific reason. Why? Because you have an idea. If somebody says, the market's going to stop down. It's going to come down. The prices are going to come down. You can tell them, well, this weird real estate guy whose videos for some reason I watch because I have nothing better to do, actually mentions that, the inventory is really low. It'd be kind of hard for the prices to go down, which is exactly what a lot of realtors that I've spoken to don't know. You see the failure rate. I was told you'll have competition soon for this listing, so we should take this offer. This is a really good offer. Maybe, tell your sellers to maybe entertain it. My response was, thank you so much I'll absolutely give it to my sellers. They'll take a look at it and everything else. But you do understand how low the inventory is. That even if the inventory starts to pick up a little bit, it has no effect on our listing price whatsoever. You do realize that, right? They didn't believe me, whatever. But I did my job. What happened? They obviously didn't take that offer. We took another one a few days later for a much higher price, record price for the area. Why is that important? Skill is important. Experience is important. I have an insurance guy who's been in the business 23 years. One of many reasons I use him, because he's been in the business almost 23 years. He's stayed alive. He's done good business. He's never screwed anybody over, which means he still gets consistent business. That is what I'm hoping to do. I hope I've mentioned some of that in here. Thank you guys for watching this. Please do, if you want to rewind, have a look at that foreign buyers thing, because that's going to give you some insight as to how you're being manipulated by people to try to get your vote. Whatever you do, at least you're in the know. At least you're knowledgeable about the facts now. So I wish you guys a fantastic rest of September. It's cooling off. Try to stay warm. Enjoy the weather while we got it. And I'll see you guys in October with undoubtedly a pretty busy September month. Take care, guys.